Good day, Maswati Lamahle. Welcome back to our normal Finance in Focus at the Ministry of Finance, just to bring everyone up to speed on what's going on at the moment and the current events. And so what's very exciting for us, and as of this week, we've gazetted the loan from the World Bank for $100 million US. And this loan is going to be able to help us with our cash flows, which are currently not in a good position, and this is going to be able to really settle all the suppliers in Eswatini, and we'll be able to deal with everyone. All suppliers, we really believe, are going to be able to be paid this week or early next week, depending when that money comes in, but it's imminent, it's very close. And it's going to be very exciting for us, and then we're going to hope from there onwards that we'll be able to keep our cash flow on track and be able to pay people on time. But again, I'll make another announcement once the money is in and once we're very clear on all this. Something else that's constantly making headlines, the issue that's been trending recently, which really is a massive problem in Maswati, is our health crisis. So we still constantly are having issues where we are buying medicines, but somehow our people are not getting the medicines they need at the hospitals. And this really is an absolute crisis. In fact, I don't think there's a bigger crisis in our country than the health crisis that we are having as we speak. Now, what I do need to, and again, where does our problem lie? Because we're constantly seeing, I mean, the Minister of Health is constantly announcing to say, we've now bought all the medicines. I see the money flowing from finance. We're supporting from a financial perspective. We support them sometimes with all the requirements they need, because the procurement is sometimes very difficult in government. We help them with what they call emergency procurement allowances. So it means they're allowed to just procure and not follow all the procurement, which means they can just buy from South African wholesale companies when they need to, just and even pay cash for these things. We've helped them on many fronts, and we see these big volumes of medicines coming in, but somehow the medicines coming into central medical stores and what's going out at the dispensaries is just not happening. There's definitely still a massive problem that we have here, and the problem that we have as government, and that is that we have a control system at central medical stores, and we have a certain control system on the ground when it comes to the actual clinics and the dispensaries, but we don't have, but these two are not speaking to each other, as well as the fact that there's nothing controlling the in-between from the central medical stores to the on the ground. So as a government, we've had a good look at this, and we have decided that the best way forward is to privatize CMS. So to take the central medical stores, actually privatize it, to make sure that we make it a parastatal. If you recall, as we've done with ERS, for instance, the Eswatini tax authority, or tax revenue as we have now, we actually they do a much better job than we ever did as government. And so we're going to be privatizing it, making it a parastatal, central medical stores, and that will mean that central medical stores actually controls the medicines from central medical stores to the regional storerooms to the hospitals or clinics. And from the hospital, it then either goes to the pharmacy, goes to emergency, or goes to the theater. And so, but all the way through, up until the drugs are used, it is going to mean that central medical stores remains in control of that and remains their property all the way through. It's going to be managed all the way through with a proper control system, which you can buy these days. It's not expensive to buy a full control system to make sure you know exactly where each drug is. And then when it comes to government paying central medical stores, we are only going to pay central medical stores once we can prove who the drugs have been given to, that they can prove the drugs have been used by a Liswati at which clinic, and what was the prescription given by the doctor to be able to have those drugs released. So we really believe that when we can get the system in place, that we'll be able to solve our drug problem once and for all in Eswatini. Now, unfortunately, it's taking time to get this all in place. We need to change the legislation to do this. And so at the moment, the legislation has been worked on. We have a lovely entity called Global Fund that's been helping us on many fronts in our health crisis, from the HIV to TB. They've been helping us very often. They've been one of the main supporters also of Nurture. And the Global Fund is helping us with this venture, from moving central medical stores from what they are now as a government entity into a parastatal. So they've got consultants on the ground, they're working on this. The legislation has now been drafted. It took a bit while for the legislation to be finalized between the Attorney General's office as well as the ministry. But as we speak now, the Attorney General's office has actually approved the legislation and is now going to Cabinet. And so again, we'll hopefully try and get that through as quick as possible as government, to try and get this sorted out, so that we can have central medical stores become a parastatal as soon as possible, and then have this drug problem solved. We really believe as government this is the right way to go. It's the right solution to the problem. And I believe in a matter of, my gut feeling is about 6 months' time, we should be in a position to actually have central medical stores actually be a parastatal and be the solution to this health crisis that we are having. And we believe that once we have that in place, whatever's happening at the moment, it'll have its own roots and its own transparency in the process to be able to have the control on the drugs, what we need in the country to be able to get on top of this. Really believe that our budget that we are providing is sufficient to be able to give Maswati all the medicines that they need. It really is the controls that are currently seemingly to be lacking. And so as a government, this is what we are doing, and we really believe it will solve the health crisis once and for all. Thank you, Maswati.